Why, hello! Welcome to the show. It is Sunday, December 29th, 2019. Holy crap, Zach. The year's almost done.
Yes.
So, yeah. Excited for 2020? Or meh?
Um, New Year, same thing. I don't know. I don't know. I have
Meh.
nothing more to say.
Meh.
What
ah,
absurdity!
promotion
What absurdity awaits us in the next decade?
promotion at work and presidential elections and
Oh
uh,
God, that's gonna be awful.
this channel is not for politics, so
It is not.
so we will move on past that.
However, that being said, I'm sure that the election time will bring with it plenty of stupidity
You know what?
that
Here's
is
here's
relevant.
let's talk about one thing real quick when it comes to politics. And that is electronic voting. A good idea or a bad idea?
It's a good idea, but there are a lot of things that need to be like airtight on that.
See, this is what makes me
Like
think.
security.
I agree with you, except for the fact that there are all those issues, which makes me say I love technology, obviously, but when it comes to our elections.
That being said, there's already security issues because they use electronic machines to tally up votes, and there's always
Yeah.
accusations floating around of such and such company or person fussing.
Yeah, there's always going to be
And
issues.
so it's like, well, I don't know, whatever.
So, anyway. So, here's what's happening on this week's show. We are looking back at the year. We're going to talk about all the fun stories that we talked about this year through previous Ram shows. And, yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. And without further ado, let's roll the open. So I totally just realized I totally forgot to turn on the TV in the background. Not that it's a huge deal, but anyway.
You ruined it.
I what?
You ruined it.
I ruined it? Oh,
Ruined it.
man.
We have to do it again now. Thanks a lot.
So, hang on. Am I don't know if this is gonna be long enough. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Let's see here. You just have to be able to get close enough to the tablet to hit the right buttons. And that's not it. Hey, we got the right logo behind me. Like, you could only see half of it, though. Or, like, a portion of it because of, like, where I'm sitting now. I used to sit more over to the left, so you could see it better. But not anymore. I mean, if I go to, like, my full screen, now you can see it. But anyway, there we go. So, whatever.
Whatever.
So, yeah. Let's look back here. So, we won't spend a ton of time on this one, but Microsoft to silence Cortana during Windows 10 setup. That was a thing that happened this year.
Yes.
What was
that being said, within the last month, I have installed Windows 10 on a device, and just like old, hey, I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help. A touch of something. What is it? A little sign in here. A touch of Wi-Fi there.
I was just about to ask you if you remembered it, but apparently you do.
I remember it.
So
burned into my brain.
One of the best things. So I am our IT guy at my local church, and So we're moving to a domain, Dak,
Mm-hmm.
and watching a bunch of users that have never interacted with a domain before.
Mm-hmm.
Especially our pastor, who is him and technology don't really get along all that well. So yeah, trying to explain the difference between logging into the actual computer and logging into Gmail, and how they're two separate things. But anyway, I think things will get easier though. We haven't moved everyone over to the domain yet, but we're getting close. So supposed to make things a little bit easier for the IT guys to manage. So anyway, and this way, when somebody forgets their password, which doesn't happen very often, but if it does, I can just reset it. So
And that's kind of a thing. That's a thing all the time for me because some pieces of software require the domain / username, right? When you're logging in, but some of them don't, and so people get confused.
well, why can't it just be one way? Like,
It's terrible.
yeah, that's a little annoying that like on some you have to actually put the domain
Like
/ thing in.
sometimes the solution is as simple as, hey, can you try domain / your user? It just works. It's like, oh, thanks, I got it. I'm like, yeah.
Yep. So, but yeah, so Microsoft finally killed that off. At least we think. Here's one that I really actually wanted to talk about though. This was all the way back from January 6th. AMD's new 12 nanometer Ryzen laptop chips look to put on the pressure on Intel. So that was a thing that happened
Right, that
this
was
year.
the thing.
They were the 15-watt U series lineup, which got 4 chips: the Ryzen 7 3700U and the Ryzen 5 3500U, which were nearly identical to the H series counterparts, aside from the name and lower power. So, let's see, what were they? Like 2.1 gigahertz and let's see. Yeah. Meanwhile, so that happened this year. Let's see what else. Ryzen was so Ryzen took off what was it, a couple years ago?
Like 2016.
Yeah. So now and I remember because around this time,
I remember too, and it was February of that year.
I remember that I was wanting to build a system, and I was really thinking, and you remember this, I was like, Intel. I'm going Intel all the way. And
Yeah, I had to remind you that AMD had a thing now.
No, you didn't
We're
remind me.
fine.
You basically told me because at this point I had no idea. Like, I didn't really even know hardware at all. Remember, you picked out all the components basically for Redmond.
Yeah, but then it was like a while before you even built it, so we ended up just doing it again.
Right. Yes. Exactly. But by this time,
And you had a lot more input then.
right. But that's because I have more knowledge as like on hardware and things like that. But anyway, I think I really tried to convince you that I wanted an Intel chip, and you were like, no. This new Ryzen thing is gonna be big. It's gonna be huge. You're gonna like it. And what happens? Both me and you are on Ryzen chips now.
You know what? I once saw an interesting graph that it basically showed the adoption of Intel versus Ryzen across quote unquote PC enthusiasts.
Okay.
Or something like that. And before Ryzen, it was like 90% Intel. And now it's almost completely flipped.
I can believe it. Well, so there's still that argument.
I thought that was really interesting.
There's still that argument that Intel is still slightly better for gaming, or at least there was. But I think either AMD has now bridged the gap, or is very, very close.
People, my thinking is that people acknowledge that fact, but the difference is just small enough that people are willing to take the benefit of Ryzen versus that the upgradability and the generally increased core.
Yeah, and what about
But
that
I don't
lovely
know. I don't know for
performance
sure
hit
why
from
people do it.
WannaCry?
Ah, it's not WannaCry though. It was
Or-
Meltdown.
Yeah, and Meltdown. WannaCry.
I'm
That
not
was
sure.
the
I'm not sure if the newer ones are even vulnerable to that anymore.
yeah.
I don't know
sorry.
for sure though.
I saw WannaCry in there. That was the huge ransomware attack that happened this year.
Yeah, that was a Windows thing though.
Meltdown and Spectre. There we go. Yep. So, yeah. But no, so like AMD has been doing amazing things this year. What are we on? Like 7 nanometer now?
7 nanometer.
Yeah. Intel? Comments? Okay, nothing. That's what I thought.
We're bringing back a 28 nanometer chip.
That's right!
Or is it 22?
I don't remember.
Whatever.
Dang. That's right. Okay, we got to talk about this one. Obviously, one of the big things of 2019 and the cell phone world was what?
iPhone?
Well, that, but what technology?
5G.
There you go.
Yes.
5G. Remember the race to be first to 5G.
It's still going on, and 5G is still worthless.
Right? In fact, however, though, AT&T misleads customers by updating phones with fake 5G icon.
Oh, you know what? I remember when we talked about this, and I think that I said something about, the 5G standard. But the 5G standard is supposed to be like gigabit speeds, but I don't. No, that's wrong. That was wrong.
I think it's up to gigabit.
Well, the thing is, there's different bands of 5G. So you have like the millimeter wave, which is like the super fast one that they want you to think is what you're going to get all the time, but in
right,
fact,
but there's
only
like
get
really small
specific
nodes of it, I think, isn't there?
Yes, that's the thing. And but mostly what you're getting is the basically 4G but better version.
The basically 4G but better, or as AT&T calls it, 5GE.
I'm fairly sure that they didn't just label it 5GE if you were using like the LTE advanced.
Yeah, so to win 5G marketing wars, AT&T has decided to brand portions of its LTE network as 5G Evolution. These portions...
but I'm pretty sure that was just straight up just LTE advanced.
Yeah, these portions of AT&T's network have received speed boosting upgrades and should be faster than typical LTE, but AT&T isn't doing anything that other carriers haven't already implemented here.
Yeah, that was pretty dirty.
And they are still by definition LTE technology, not 5G. But, when have telecommunication companies ever been honest? At least the major ones. At least the major ones. My local co-op is not perfect, but definitely way better to deal with than the large telecommunication companies that are out there.
That's so fun. Telecommunications companies being honest about anything.
Good and the best thing is that the speeds on that network weren't even that impressive. AT&T says 5GE connection will reach average real-world speeds of around, wait for it, 40 megabits per second. 40 megabits per second. That was all.
That's funny because 5 years ago, I was able to get almost 70 on 4G LTE.
So
on Verizon.
Here's something to.
I mean, obviously that depends where you are.
Right.
And it was using the LTE, the enhanced LTE. LTE or I don't know what to call it. There's some like
No,
upgraded
LTE
stuff.
Evolution, Zach.
No. You know, I'm gonna Google it. Hold on.
So here's something to keep in mind, however, though. So not that it affects us and many users of phones, but the older generation. Do your like grandparents, Zach, have cell phones?
Yes, they do.
Are they flip phones?
No, they're not. They're Samsung phones.
Oh, okay. So anyone who is using an older flip phone will probably won't work after the beginning of the year. Or sometime. I don't know if it's a hard. Have you heard if it's a hard date that they're shutting off the 3G towers?
I do not know.
I just know.
I have not investigated that because it was irrelevant to me.
We have a lot of clientele that come in with those older phones, so we've been telling them for the last couple of months that, hey, after the beginning of the year, your phone's probably not going to work for very long because they are dropping 3G, which, like,
I forgot about.
I mean, it makes sense because most everyone is on at 4G LTE now.
I mean, they can only support that for so long.
Right, and telecommunication companies don't want to support that anymore. They want to evolve to 5G. So that's where they're going to start putting...
5G!
Yeah, that's where they're going to start putting their focus. So...
5G. I don't ever want to hear about 5G. Blech. 5G!
Let's see. What else is in here? Ring let employees watch customers' videos, a report claimed this year. So, I don't remember. I don't remember if there was an opt-out option. Oh no, I think it was for machine learning. I think is what it was for.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I think that's what it was for. Yeah, Ring's Ukraine team was granted access to customers' video as a manual prop up for underperforming AI. Yep. Data operators manually tagged and labeled objects and videos like vehicles and people in efforts to train the software's object recognition. So that's what it was for. Now there's probably different laws in the Ukraine, you know.
Well, yes.
So anyway, here we go. Microsoft no longer sees Cortana as an Alexa or Google Assistant competitor.
Right, because she's annoying.
That, and I think they kind of gave up on Cortana because nobody used it.
Yes.
Microsoft's Cortana digital assistant has fallen behind Google Assistant and Alexa over the past year. No, really?
What? No.
Really? Because, as we've said many times on this show before, Zach, what is Microsoft? They are always what?
Late to the party.
There we go. They are always late to the party. At least recently they have been. Like, probably not so much on the Xbox or anything like that. Like, they actually, like, hopped on that train and did reasonably well. But, yeah. Yeah. So Microsoft had already partnered with Amazon to enable Cortana and Alexa integration. I don't know how many people actually use that, though. You're probably just using Alexa.
Probably,
Yeah, instead of competing with Alexa, Nadella admits that there was a challenge of creating hardware and software that's unique to compete. Microsoft chose to make Cortana a vulnerable skill that somebody who is using Alexa can call instead of competing in smart speakers, and that's probably why we haven't seen so many Cortana speakers. Yeah, that nobody actually used it. Funny what happens when you shove something down somebody's throat. It tends to make you not want to use it.
Oh, Cortana? You mean that piece of crap that's stuck in my Windows 10? Oh.
So, you know what I did? So, I had to actually use... Here's what's funny. Is that... Well, maybe not funny. So, Microsoft does not actually allow a group policy for you to hide the Cortana search bar. There's
I've
no
been in the Cortana search bar.
Yeah, but no. Through group
Huh?
policy. Through group
Oh,
policy.
well, yes, okay. Because
So-
then you can just automate that. Okay.
Right. So in fact, what you have to do, and what I had to do on the domain, was go in and set a registry entry through group policy to make it do that. So it's actually happening in the registry.
Not a bad idea.
It's actually happening in the registry. Well, so actually, I think there is a group policy for you to be able to actually disable Cortana, but it doesn't get rid of it from the taskbar. I actually had to go into the registry and set that up to do that. But that's because I wanted to automate it across all the install or all the logins and all the users and everything like that.
Personally, I really dislike that search bar. I think it's unsightly.
It takes up so much space on the taskbar, and it's the very first thing that I turn off. And that
Yes, it's just such an eyesore. Like, bleh. Get out of my sight.
So if I were to look at your taskbar right now, what is it? Is it the start button and then just icons?
And then icons.
Yep. That's what mine is. So anyway, it's really funny when I get a user though that's like, I'm like, oh, just search for this. And they're like, well, how do I do that? And I'm like, literally just start typing. Go to the search bar, start typing, and then it pops up. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah.
I would say push the start key and start typing.
Well, yeah, but anyway, yeah, and then it pops up. So anyway, I can't stand the task view button. Turn off the people button or the people menu bar or whatever the flip that thing is. I want a clean taskbar.
Clean taskbar. Thank you.
Only thing I have pinned to my taskbar is Chrome. Although I will say,
I have Firefox and this PC.
yeah, or you mean this PC or the file viewer?
This PC.
Okay, so I put this PC in my start menu, on the side, as one of those like quick access buttons. That is one thing that I miss so much about like the Windows 7 start menu, was all the options on the side, especially the control panel option and the this PC option. Have you noticed that in recent years, Microsoft has gone out of their way to basically hide any trace of the control panel?
Yeah, Microsoft is not fond of the control panel.
No,
and
they
I'm
want
not
you to
fond
use
of that decision.
They want you to
because
use
I
the
like
new
control
start
panel.
or the new settings menu.
Settings menu.
I can't find any freaking thing I'm looking for in there.
Yeah, and everything in there just feels so so dumbed down. Like it needs to be accessible for, Bob McEnd user to be able to know what he's looking.
End user.
Like, I just want the control panel because everything that's there has been the same since Windows 7, pretty much. And I know where.
Right,
That
exactly.
being said, the settings menu has a search tool, which I use all the time because I don't know where anything is.
Right, yes. In fact, I think, what? Hold on. The control panel actually has a search bar.
The control panel has that too, though. Yes.
But I'm so much quicker in the control panel than I am in the stupid settings menu. Like, anytime I need to go uninstall a program, like, control panel, uninstall a program. Like, it's literally right there.
Yep.
Settings. You got to go into apps. And then, I guess that's not that hard, and then the list just shows up. But anyway, I'm getting better with the settings menu, but I still don't like it.
Yeah. Not fond of that.
So, oh yes, Motorola's Razr returned this year, starting at a whopping $1,500.
Yeah, I don't know.
And here's the problem with this too, is that the technology that's inside of it, because it took them so long to develop this thing, the hardware inside is outdated.
What does it have?
That's a great question.
Well, yes, it is.
So
So how do you know if it's outdated if you don't know what's inside?
Because I heard another tech channel talking about it.
well, we should have a peek ourselves and evaluate it. Well, that being said, we're no experts about that. In any case, I actually heard a blurb about some of them like breaking or whatever, having problems, which I thought was kind of...
So it is a foldable P OLED, capacitive touchscreen, 6.2 inches. It's an 876 by 2142 pixel display, or resolution. I'm sorry. Let's see. It is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 710.
Oh, that sucks. Wow, that's like one of the lower end ones. Like the 800 series are for the flagships. Almost every flagship uses one of them. But like, why are they putting a lower end CPU or SoC, I guess, in this phone that costs $1,500?
I don't know.
That's really unfortunate.
No, I know why. Nostalgia.
What? So it's slow, just like the Razr used to be.
Oh, and there is no 3.5 millimeter headphone jack.
Well, yeah.
That was
Why
a thing. No,
can't we
actually, that
have
didn't
that?
happen. Why? Why can't we have nice things, Apple?
Well, it's not Apple, but Apple is kind of responsible for starting the.
That's why I
craze of
said,
doing
why
that
can't we have
jack.
nice things, Apple?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, just wait. There's a story about that too.
Lovely.
Yes. But it does have Wi-Fi built in. And USB-C Type 3 or USB-C 3. So, anyway. Let's see what else. Your mic is like stuck in the on position, by the way. Hey, There we go. Ever since you started doing push to talk, things have gotten much better because there's not that annoying echo every time I talk.
But I've used push to talk since forever.
I know. Ever since you started doing that, it eliminated the echo that we used to have.
But I've never not used push to talk.
No, we did way back in the beginning shows when we were using Slack. Remember?
Oh. Yeah, that was awful. Yeah, that was definitely awful. Well, you know what? I actually fixed an issue recently with my setup where I think that like there was some wires crossed in my stupid adapter because my headphones have a built-in mic, right, in line, which is better than you'd think. In any case, so I need a splitter to convert it to a audio and mic signal.
Right, yeah.
Plug into the back of the computer. I'm pretty sure there was some cables crossed in there, some wires crossed in there or something, because like it would do what you said, right? There would be some like serious echo going on there. And like even my PC audio would sometimes try, which was dumb, right? So I ended up getting a new adapter, and it seems to be a lot better. I have not had that issue anymore.
I remember there used to be a lot of robot voice going on too. Now I don't know if that was part of like.
I think that might have been because that adapter, like, I have it in front of me.
Well, I don't know. That could have been Maverick too, or yeah, it could have been Maverick too. Because
I think that it was my stupid adapter to be honest.
Well, Maverick probably didn't help. Like, remember, Maverick was so we upgraded it to a Q66, right? But it only
there's a split like sheathing on the wire here.
Is there? Well, yeah. Okay, but Maverick, remember, had a Q66. We upgraded that. It only had 4 gigs of RAM, and what was it? A 730 or something like that, or was it a no? It was 7. Yeah, it was a 710 or 730.
Something like that, yeah.
And remember, we had to upgrade. Remember, we had to make a trip to Best Buy to go get a new graphics card, in order to actually make the show happen because the system just could not perform well enough on its own. I needed a card, like a Kepler card or something like that, so we could do on the card rendering, basically, or encoding.
oh yeah, your CPU encoder was awful. Well, yeah, I mean it was an onboard GPU on a Q6600. Like, yikes.
So anyway, and then but that system like just barely like made it by like doing the show every week. I think we actually ran into like times where it like I think it actually did crash in the middle of a show one time. And then when we got Redmond here, we were able to make the jump up to animated graphics finally.
Woo! Incredible.
So yeah, so the background is animated. It renders things fine. What are we at? We're at a whopping, any guesses what my CPU percentage is at right now?
Less than 20%.
Oh, by far.
I was
Easily.
about to say 10, but then I thought about it. But yeah, I guess you're not encoding on the CPU, so yeah.
Yeah, we're at like 6.3, 6.4% right now. Oh, we just dropped to like 5. So, yeah, Redmond's just sitting here like, really? That's all you got for me? Like, we're not doing horrible at all with this system. So animated graphics now, and like intros and other videos and things like that. Well, actually, the Microsoft News open there, that always played pretty decently. But we never would have been able to have a animated background with the other system that we had. So anyway, but moving on. Oh yes. So Facebook has finally jumped on that whole the portal thing.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that thing.
remember Facebook employees leaving 5-star reviews on Amazon and then getting busted for doing it?
Very good.
Let's see. iFixit's iPhone battery replacement kits costed only $30 for the entire year of 2019. Which was a big thing. So we have to go back, I think, a couple years here. Remember when Apple, quietly decided to, basically degrade performance on purpose. Your battery,
and then people found out about it, and they started the backpedaling pretty quick. Okay, we're sorry. Battery replacement's cheap. $30. Come and get it.
I think it was more than that. I think it was like $40.
$30, wasn't it?
No, I think it was $40.
Pretty sure it was $30.
No, because actually it might have even been more than that. Because here was the thing: is that when I started at my new job, we were doing iPhone replacement batteries for $40, and we were undercutting what Apple was. Or actually, no, maybe we weren't. No. I think we were $10 more than Apple, and the reason was because we were more convenient. Versus having to drive to an actual Apple store and then go wait in line.
So I was right.
Yeah, you are. I'm not too proud to admit that you're right.
Ah, I win.
Yes, you do. Now, what do you need in order to program any Dodge, Chrysler, or Jeep vehicle, Zach?
I don't know.
There!
I like a mechanic.
I'm not a mechanic, and I know how to do that. I mean, besides having a, like $5,000, key cutter and, programmer, in addition to that, you also need what's called a SCIM code, which is like a 4-digit code that, like, basically allows you to, like, grant you security access to the vehicle. So, anyway, but yeah. Woo, vehicles. That is some interesting tech right there. Car keys? Oof. What do you drive?
A Honda?
You have a Honda?
Yes.
I thought you had like a Ford or something.
No.
Okay, so you have a what year Ford? Or Honda, I'm sorry.
I have a 2010 Honda Insight.
2010 Honda Insight. And what is your, do you have a Prox key? So do you have one of those push to start systems?
Yes.
Yeah, so you've got a prox key. So yeah, actually I'm not too familiar with like Hondas, but like
Very, very pleased with that, by the way. Very nice use of my employee discount that I don't have anymore.
where did you get
The old stupid job.
Right, but wait, what?
Yeah. I got it for like half the price because of my discount. The old job.
Did you have like some kind of agreement with your old job in like a dealership?
No, they installed those things.
Oh, wait, installed. Remote.
Installed those systems.
Remote
Yeah,
start.
those remote systems. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you got a deal on the vehicle. I was like,
Ooh.
what? I missed I missed the part where you said remote start.
You were asking me if I had that, and I was like, yeah.
No, I push to start.
Yeah. I mean, I pushed the button on my remote.
No. I mean like physically, or do you have to physically actually turn
I
a
turned
key?
the key. Turn the key.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
Not that new.
and then your key
Sorry,
probably
we're
has
getting confused.
yeah, and then your key probably has the remote on the top of it, right?
Well, it's a keychain. It's a separate system. So
Oh,
added.
okay. So you actually have a separate key and a separate fob.
Well, the existing key still unlocks the car.
Right,
No.
but that one doesn't have any buttons on it. It's just a key. Right?
No, it has buttons on it.
Okay. This is what I was trying to figure out. Okay, so yeah. So you have a combo key.
And I have a remote attached, and I have a remote keychain that's just attached to it.
Yeah,
It's
so you-
completely.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. So you have one of those combo keys then is what they call those things. And then
Combo key?
yeah,
What are you
because
talking about?
because it's a key with the remote on the top of it. So they call that a combo key.
Okay, but I'm confused. All right, whatever.
So okay, some vehicles just have a standard key, right?
It has a standard key, yes, and the keychain is attached to it. They're completely separate. There's no combo involved.
No. Your original key though. Your original key for the vehicle.
Yeah.
Not forget about remote start for a second. That doesn't exist right now. Okay? Just standard from the dealership when you got it because you didn't have remote start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came with a key with a remote built into the key.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
sure.
they call that a combo key.
All right, fine.
But
Yeah.
some interesting well, that one not so much. So the electronics actually communicate with what's called the immobilizer on the vehicle, and that's what allows you to actually start the vehicle.
Okay.
This way, not any just random person off the street can cut a key and start your vehicle. But actually, so since you have a Honda, if you look at your key, it's got an inside cut, doesn't it? Like there's not actually teeth on it. Like it's grooved inside, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, they call that a high security cut, which is supposed to make those keys much harder to duplicate too.
Lovely.
So, yeah, see, but no, just like
Very nice.
just your standard vehicles, like a lot of Chevys that have like a standard key. The key actually has a chip in the top of it that actually communicates with the vehicle. And if you cut a key and the chip doesn't match up, it won't start the vehicle. So, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep. If you've got a key that's not programmed, it will start the vehicle for about 2 seconds and then it stalls out.
Okay.
So that's how you can tell if you have an unprogrammed key. So anyway, but yeah, so that's a little on keys. Like I said, some pretty cool tech there. So here's what I found out about keys though, is programming them either goes really, really well or really, really bad. Like that time that we may or may not have kind of gotten a Nissan Rogue stuck in the parking lot.
Ooh, ouch.
Whoops.
Oops.
Yeah. Try explaining to a customer that they now have a 3,000-ton paperweight.
3,000 ton?
Or 3-ton, I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
A 3-ton.
Excuse me, but what?
Son of a biscuit. A 3-ton paperweight. There we go. I think I was probably going for like 3,000 pound.
Boy.
But yeah, like having like actually I don't know if a car is actually 3 tons.
No way.
Maybe like a 1-ton paperweight. Anyway, so yeah. Oh yes, this is right. Energizer said it was making a phone this year with a pop-up camera. I don't know if that actually came to fruition or not.
I don't know if it did either, and I don't recall anything like that happening.
Nest locked users out of their accounts if they thought their passwords had been breached.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh yes, this is right. Amazon killed off their little dash buttons this year. You thought those were the stupidest thing in the world.
I thought they were kind of dumb, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know why? So they ditched them in favor of everyone ordering everything through their little, Amazon Alexa. That's why. Oh, yes! Comcast sets mobile pins to 0000, helping attackers steal phone numbers.
Of course.
Oh, man. So, yeah, a bad security decision by Comcast on the company's mobile phone service made it easier for attackers to port victims' cell phone numbers to different carriers. To port a phone line from a Comcast from Comcast to another wireless carrier, a customer needs to know his or her Comcast mobile account number. Carriers generally use pins to verify that a customer seeking to port a number actually owns the number, but Comcast reportedly set the pins to 0000 for all its customers. Nice going, Comcast. Oh, man. Oh, I love this. PR. Comcast told Ars Technica that less than 30 customers were affected by the problem. That's still 30 customers too many.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, I guess you still would have to know the account number, but even still, come on, guys. Oh, man. Let's see, what else? Google Stadia was launched this year. I'm interested to know what your thought is, being a gamer more than
Apparently it was terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
apparently there is lots of talk of, well, the resolution is straight up not as described. The performance is poor, and the game selection is laughable. Not only that, but you have to pay full price for games, and like you can't just be like, oh well, I already own that game and play it on Stadia. No, you have to buy it again on Stadia.
Okay, that's a little. I guess the logistics of that get a little goofy in terms of licensing. Now here's the thing though. How much of it do you think is on Google's end? Obviously, the game selection and
pretty much.
Hold on. How much of it is on Google's end? How much of it is on other ISPs' ends?
ISPs? No. Well, I mean, you could kind of make a point that, well, if internet in this country wasn't so awful, then
right. But I'm just saying, just saying that could be part of the reason. I don't know if it is.
Don't know. I haven't looked into it enough because I don't care.
Right, but that's what I'm wondering. I think you from the start thought that this was a horrible idea, though.
Well, yeah, and because of all those things that I already mentioned, let alone the performance being bad.
By the way, I don't know if you saw it. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently the new Xbox is apparently basically just a, gaming PC now.
Yes. Are you surprised?
Well, no. But what are they finally just going to call it what it really is? A PC.
It's a PC with a proprietary locked OS on it.
Oh, so it's like a Chromebook. Just a little bit more powerful.
Let's call it a gaming Chromebook. I like
gaming Chromebook.
It's horrible.
Xbox. It's just a gaming Chromebook.
It's just a gaming Chromebook. Yeah.
Oh, man. Let's see. Oh yeah, budget airline WoW Air collapsed this year and canceled all flights, stranding all its passengers.
Oh. Okay.
That happened.
Mildly amusing.
We talked about that. Oh yes, Microsoft leads the way in banning April Fool's Day pranks.
No fun. No fun allowed.
No fun allowed.
Only work. Only work. No fun.
Oh, here we go. Apple apologizes for continued reliability problems with its MacBook keyboards.
I hated those keyboards. They were the worst.
I think they've actually gone back to the original, keyboard layout now, or like keys and things like that, like the old style, which in my opinion was great. Those butterfly switches were pieces of crap. There was no travel on them.
Yep. Terrible experience, dude. That
Man,
keyboard.
horrible for typing on.
Absolutely horrible.
Yeah. So, wow, Apple actually admitting that they were wrong on something. Wow.
That's a shock. Huh?
Oh, yeah, okay. Intel's 10 nanometer chips arrive in June, 7 nanometer in 2021. Is Intel on 7 nanometer now?
Oh.
You know, you gotta wonder, what's the holdup?
Don't know.
I mean, obviously it's possible. AMD has figured it out.
Yes.
So, that's not the issue there. Oh! Yes! Tesla responds to Model S fires with battery software updates! Because some, lady, or, some... Was it a lady or something like that? Somebody's Tesla Model S caught on fire. Occurred in April in Shanghai. CCTV cameras recorded smoke appearing from beneath the vehicle before the flames took hold. Then earlier in that same week, a second Model S burst into flames, again while parked, but no footage of that incident had apparently exists. So, yeah. You know, it's funny. You know, what was it, a couple years ago, you know, the Note 7 blows up, and then throughout this year, I feel like we had a lot of stories about, scooters and other things blowing up. With, lithium-ion batteries and everything. So, I think there was even a story, this might have been last year, but there was I remember us talking about a story about, an iPhone in some lady's purse, just spontaneously combusting or something like that. Yes! Well, I shouldn't maybe be so excited about this, but you're gonna love this one. Man sentenced to 18 months in prison after threatening to do away with Ajit Pai. Presumably because of net neutrality.
Well, personally, I don't think anyone would be too sad if anything happened to him.
That was a California
he
man.
He isn't exactly good for the world.
Depends on where you sit, but yeah, it was a California man. He was sentenced over to 1.5 years in prison for threatening to kill Federal Communications Commission Chairman Ajit Pai and his family over the agency's controversial appeal of net neutrality. Okay, threatening to kill somebody, that's a little over the top. Threatening to kill him and his entire family, that's next level. I mean, yeah, I'm not happy about the repeal either, but I wouldn't go that far. Hopefully, we can put something back into place, though. So, oh yes, okay. So is this it? Is this
What?
This is talking about Meltdown right here. Oh, actually, this is Zombie Lord. Fallout or
Zombie Load.
Or Zombie Load. Oh, yeah. Sorry. What was this one?
It was not too long ago.
No, not when. What was this one?
I don't know.
This is another one of those like it hit processors and things like that. So, anyway.
Another security hole in Intel CPUs. Nothing to see here.
Oh, yep. Microsoft warns of a major WannaCry-like Windows security exploit. Releases XP patches. AMD Ryzen 300 was announced this year.
1,000.
Huh?
1,000, you mean?
I said 3,000.
You said 300.
No, I said 3,000.
You definitely said 300.
Nope, I said 3,000.
Nope. You definitely said 300.
Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. AMD Ryzen 300 was announced this year. Ah, crap! I did say 300.
Plays back the footage, finds out that I'm right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Ryzen 3000. I swear I said 3000. Dang it. All right, I'll give that one to you too. That was hilarious. Oh man. The best part was too, you could hear that, couldn't you?
Yeah, well, I only heard part of it.
Oh man. Okay. Ryzen 3000 was announced this year. Shall we talk about why somebody wasn't here last week?
But I didn't have internet.
Yeah, I know. Whose fault was that?
Mine.
No, actually, Media Craps, but okay. Let's see. Oh, yes, Google temporarily paused Android Q beta updates after it threw some pixels into a boot loop.
You'd think their own OS would work on their own phone.
Well, you'd think the same thing could be said about, like Windows 10. No.
Like
Remember, disappearing graphics card drivers?
Yes.
Just saying. In fairness, it was the beta release. It wasn't the full release. Just saying. Let's see here. Oh, yes! Apple's insanely overpriced $1,000 Pro Display XDR stand.
Very funny, Apple.
To go along with the...
But it has our logo on it!
No. But it comes with the cleaning cloth in the box.
It's worth it now. Go buy it right now.
I mean, like, if you're already spending that much money on a system and a display, what's an extra $1,000? It's just the theory behind it. It shouldn't be. But anyway. Oh, yes! Smart ovens! Turning themselves on at night and preheating to 400 degrees. That was a thing that happened this year. And do you remember? The company said that the problem was not on their end. It was the users. The user must have done something wrong.
They must have done something.
Yeah. June CEO Matt Von Horn says that owners, not the oven, are at fault. We've seen a few cases where customers have accidentally activated their oven preheat via device. Figure your cell phone, he tells The Verge. So imagine if I were to be in the June app clicking recipes and I accidentally tapped something that preheated my oven. We've seen a few cases of that. Then why is it so easy for that to happen?
Don't know.
See, they're blaming their poor design on users. So, let's see. What else? Oh, do you remember this? Here's another example of a telecommunication company just being nasty. Verizon tried to charge a rural library $880 for an accidentally using 440 megabytes of data in Canada. Megabytes! Megabytes! Was that this year or was that last year that... it must have been last year with the California wildfires where Verizon tried to like...
Yeah, they were trying to charge like firefighters.
Well, then they throttled
huge
them
amounts
too.
Of money for data.
And then they throttled them too. Actually, I think that was this year. Yeah, it was. Yeah, where anyway, they ended up just not charging them because of the PR nightmare. Yes, I remember this because we were like, are you serious? You guys have just gotten yourselves into trouble by basically charging the crap and throttling fire departments while they're trying to get their job done. And now here you are charging the crap out of a rural library of all places for using a minuscule amount of data. So, anyway, let's see. Intel introduces 8 new 10th gen Comet Lake processors. Let's see here. With stupid part numbers now, mind you.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Apple. Remember this year announced that they would let more independent repair shops buy genuine iPhone parts.
I do remember that.
How that's going to work out, though, or how it's been working out, I haven't heard. I still feel like there's going to be a lot of catches. Remember, Apple can choose to not sell parts to anyone they choose not to sell it to because of any reason. Oh, we just don't like where your location is. Okay, we're not going to sell you parts. Let's see. macOS Catalina broke a bunch of apps, remember? So they dropped support for 32-bit apps and I think went to everything 64-bit and it broke a bunch of stuff. Same, I don't know if it was the same thing, but updating to iOS 13, especially if you played Fortnite or PUBG, broke the games. Let's see. The U.S. military retired floppy disks this year.
About time.
Oh, yes! The NordVPN breach.
That was a good time.
Man.
But I don't use NordVPN, so I don't care.
Yeah, I know. I do.
Sucks.
Rip me. I don't actually use it all that often. Google replaced home devices this year that were bricked due to a firmware update. Oops.
Oops.
Let's see, what else? AMD also shipped an unlocked 49. Remember the 49 Athlon 3000G processor? I did it again. I think this thing was actually somewhat impressive for what was it for $49? What did you get? Where are the specs on this thing? 14 nanometer, 3.5 gigahertz. Excuse me. Dual core, 4-thread performance, with Radeon Vega 3 graphics, and 35-watt TDP for just $50. I mean, not a card that you're gonna, or not a card, not a processor you're gonna be gaming on, but for for just the average,
budget end.
Yeah, very budget end system, not horrible. I mean, yeah, it is a dual core, but if you're just browsing Facebook and watching YouTube, it's probably fine. Let's see, what else? Oh, yes. Remember, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Facebook, there was a massive Facebook breach when somebody stole unencrypted hard drives.
Yep.
That was a thing. Oh, yes, and we'll talk about that in a second. Apple removed customer reviews from its online store this year.
Of course they did.
Can't handle the heat in the kitchen. And the big one here, the 2021 iPhone rumored to not have any ports.
God, I really hope that's not a thing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It'll be very interesting. And there you go. There's a recap of what happened this year in tech. Not all of it, of course, but kind of what we covered. What did I actually did have a regular show kind of put together for this week. The Motorola Razr has been delayed. Oh, get this. Cox, the internet company, apparently was harboring music pirates. What did I have in here for this? Oh yeah, this one talks about the Xbox. It really does look kind of like a PC.
Yeah, it does.
It's not that far off. Have you seen a picture of it?
Yeah, it looks like a square version of the trash can.
Yes! Yes! With more ventilation on the top. Holy crap though. That thing really does look like a pre-built system. So, apparently that's a thing. Let's see here. Oh, yes. I had this in here too. Actually, so the new Mac Pro that Apple just released is actually like the most repairable device that Apple has released in years. It's actually pretty modular. Which is and I don't think there's anything special about the memory besides it probably being ECC memory. In theory, the CPU is probably socketed. So the graphics card, I mean, you might have some issues getting it to reliably work with other graphics cards. Because Apple likes to do a lot of goofy stuff in software, but yeah. But I mean, in order to have the privilege of being able to, easily repair your new Mac Pro, you just got to spend, it's going to cost you about the cost of a brand new car.
Yeah. Of course it is. Freaking Apple.
So, anyway, but yeah. So, that's all I got.
Interesting year.
That's all I got.
An interesting year, no doubt.
Yeah. I don't have anything else. So, any big tech things that we missed, maybe?
I got nothing. In fact, I'm kind of hungry and I need to use the bathroom, so I think I'm good.
All right. Well, with that said, we say goodbye to 2019. We will say hello to 2020 on our next show next week. And with that, thank you so much for joining us here in 2019. Hopefully we'll see you back in 2020. Thanks for joining us on this episode. If you liked it, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Get subscribed down below if you haven't done that already. Turn on the bell for notifications, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.